What's up, good peoples? This is Stone Stanza coming at you. I just want to come up, well, not come up with, but share a quick topic. And it's still based on critical thinking and the educational system, and all based around hip hop also. But like I want to share, like I said, for like since 2016, I could talk about it because I went through one part of it, but I can't talk about the overall, you know. And basically, special needs. I have a son, promising son, who I love, and he is under the autism, you know. And there are a lot. First of all, I'd like to say, through your studies, there are a lot of people who made it successful having autism. You have to just deal with certain disorders, and it takes hard work from both parents. And yes, you could look at professional baseball players today, professional weightlifters, not even that, people in academic. So it's working hard. But basically, I just want to share, without saying no names or anything. But basically, one day I went up to my son's school and here in Ocean Academy and in New Jersey. So, I'll just leave it like that. So basically, on his birthday, I go take him some cupcakes for his class. And I'm asking how he's doing. So, the head person, who I should say charge of, the head social worker team person, she's smiling. He's doing great. And I'm believing it because he had awesome teachers. And one I would like to name since the first grade. And it's just two Miss Rachels. And he was doing outstanding. He went to saying like 6 or 7 words at a time. And the teachers are, I could say that, are very awesome and respectful for the teachers I see. And, I went to a couple of his conferences. Come to find out, I didn't understand how he was doing so great. And a report came in one day, started saying he's being destructive. So I didn't understand it. So come to find out, I called the head district of that county, whatever. They provided me with a calendar. I did my homework. And the days that my son, they said he was destructive, he wasn't even in school. Guess what? My son missed over 80 something days, and I have joint custody. The mother's primary, but also remember, that's just the state laws. The Supreme Court, the legislative, does not recognize joint custody when you have both of them, because they recognize equal, when you get that far. Certain states and all of them just have their certain ways of doing it. But anyway, I look more into it. Now, come to find out, now I'm starting to complain. Now I'm having the meetings with the principal. Now, what makes it deadly, I'm going through family court. Now my son can't do the things that he was doing. I'm not going to speak on the family part. All I can say is it's about the children. To both the parents, not this, oh, I'm going to get mad, or now you go get a boyfriend, or he go get, and you ignore it. No. It's basically on the needs, Give a child a cold drink. And if you don't know that, you will get to know that. Then you just repent for your sin and, keep going. But, because this is about the future, And not just my son's future, but all of them. And I pray that heaven always dawns down on their minds, that they will laugh at, like I said, the generations that couldn't do and get along and encourage one another. But back to when I'm sharing critical thinking, I'm still getting back to them in the educational system. I have meetings now in family court. Judge is upset. How does he miss these days? How does he miss these days? He's going to give me custody. Now, all of a sudden, the report is written by the school when another judge steps in. My son is 9 years old on a 2-year-old level. I couldn't understand it. That wasn't true. Then I'm looking at it. Well, how does a little boy, 5, 6 years old at the time, say 7 words at a time, starting to use? I'm teaching him training wheel bikes. He's doing baseball. I'm doing, and I couldn't. I'm like, what the? I didn't have the paperwork. Got in touch with the district again. They said this came from, Chops in Philadelphia. Come to find out, I got the paperwork. My son was 4 years old on a 2.5 year level. Now I'm wondering, how did this get past the judge? This is 2014, 2015. Now, this is 2020 now. So I'm just like, maybe they blocked something out. Okay, maybe the judge couldn't see. Maybe I'm not going to give him the benefit because he was the first judge, which was a family judge, not a criminal judge acting as a family judge. Couldn't understand it. So, basically, I go back. So come to find out, this what affects the schools. That saying that one rotten apple can spoil for a lot. So this one teacher who I just had a hearing in front of the AOL, Administration of Law, and I'm going to get to it, about that. And I'm going to get back to it. But the same head social worker admitted she called DIFUS on my son's mother. Not only she did that, she said she thinks there's something on her behalf going on. Not only she did that, she said that my son's mother asked her for help. Now check this out. Now here's where I complain, and then they denied. You're not supposed to mix family court and school. My son missed 100 and something days. That's what we're going for. Unexcused. The superintendent does not vouch. Now I go grab the family court audio, which I have a lot of them. I got more, they dropped. So, do my homework, and come to find out, the teacher writes something on the behalf that fools the judge. I take the audio back up to the principal. I take it up to the assistant superintendent, all that. Nobody vouches for this. Nobody vouches for these unexcused days that they're trying to make excused. The case keeps going. I keep pushing. Now, I'm talking to the under social worker, and all he kept saying is, well, me and my wife are divorced, and we went through problems. Wait. Why are you trying to throw me off? Why is my son missing this many days? Why aren't you informing me and I have joint custody? They're looking at you like they're dumb. State and federal law say after 16 days, you are supposed to put in, what do they call that? When truancy. Then that goes to the courts. And there's a reason why that law is set in place, because it stops everything right there. It wasn't. So now the teacher, I'm not going to say the teacher, the head social worker and still is, or head of the, department, she got to a higher department, acted on her own. So that means she's out of bounds. So now, not only are they robbing taxpayers, my son misses 100 and something days. Now he's acting up. Over 80 something days he's acting up, but he wasn't in school, according to this calendar the district sent me. So now they're making false IEPs. They're making false accusations. Now the head social worker says the mother asked me for help. Maybe because she was scared she was going to lose custody and I was going to gain whatever. But an adult decision between that was not executed properly. So now I'm going in front of the AOL where she's on stand. The whole thing, the judge even went out of bounds. And the lawyer for the school, who states Um, where he's scared that I'm going to get the transcripts and take it back to family court because the testimony that the head social worker said the mother asked her for help. This whole time, I asked one question. 8 teachers were supposed to be lined up that I can question. I asked one question: was the father homeless? Did the father didn't have transportation? Now they couldn't. They said no. You do have that. They're acting as family. Now I get in touch the whole time because I'm doing pro se with Trenton, the head special education. I'm not going to say her name. She's helped me the whole time. They say from the door, you are not supposed to mix family court with education. And see this now, this is where they try to get sneaky. This is where I say critical thinking always comes in too, because in other words, they're going to say, oh, we're not going to let him. Oh, you're not going to come in here and mess up our county's analyzation or whatever analyzation they got going on. Maybe they don't know what's going on. And maybe they are just going by so-called professional. Now at the court, I'm going against the teacher, and I'm going against the school, and I'm going against the district. Somehow the judge, and the thing about it, I didn't go with an attorney because I was going to gift different attorney, paying different attorneys and getting information from them. Some were giving free information because they seen how they listened and seeing how far. So every attorney, every teacher, every judge isn't. There's some real ethical ones out there. Let's get that straight. But to get back on that, the head social worker, she's giggling, she's laughing. The judge puts her on there as my witness to say that she is on a professional level. When I rejected, he said you have to have one. I'm going by my information that I have. They've been fighting since 2016, 17. He missed 70-something days. Next year, he missed 70-something days. The grandmother brings him to school 80-something days late. I have no knowledge of any of this. They're keeping all this. And then in the AOL at the courts, they're admitting the teacher. The grandparents and the mother yell out for help. This is when they took advantage because they made their self fall under the guidelines. So now the social worker, psychology, reverse psychological welfare, is going to say, ooh, the father by the mother, that's primary, but they had joint custody saying this and that and that, and to hide stuff. Now, this is where they step in, and this is where they get shiesty, trying to use my son as experiment, what the other special services kids, stealing, all type of stuff, getting false grants, critical thinking, making it seem like they have to put you here to be up here. Now, they're laughing, and the whole time I'm laughing because I'm just sitting back watching. The whole time, they based it on the mother being homeless. This is family court. Now, I stood up and said, Judge, this been going on too far. 45 minutes been talking about the mother's homeless. 10 minutes on why he is in all these days he missed. Now, 2018, he had teeth trouble. Which, yeah, he started, them wisdom teeth kids, he started acting up then. But I said take 2019, 2018 away. 2016, 17, he missed over 60 days. 2017, 2018, he missed over 60 days and was told he was acting up. How does 2016, 17, he's saying 7 words at a time, everything is good. He's corresponding to now he's depleted. Now you come to find out the whole time these 3 years I'm going, you have a head social worker. So I guess the judge of the AOL, I'm asking him if the federal and state rules are you're not supposed to bring family court up with special education needs and why my son got robbed and false IEP reports, and I don't hear nothing on that. And I'm showing you proof. Now all of a sudden the course stops. The judge a month later sends his decision saying that my son is now getting help. He doesn't want to go against it. So like I said, I was already informed from the beginning because, like I said, Betsy DeVos, you see that head special. I don't think she's in there now. And her secretary, when this first started, I sent all my proof, the audios, the everything. They said that you have to go through the certain procedures when you're done. There's three civils. You have the civil to hear the case, you have the civil for damages, and then you have the discrimination civil lawsuit. So they told me that from the door because I'm going pro se. So these higher courts like Trenton, Washington D.C., they not, if they hear your case and they hear it's really good, they're not going to play. You know what I mean? They're not going to play. So now I'm at the joint where I can't talk about it because it's going to go further. So now I'm just going to show you what critical thinking, just based off what I'm going through, just a little experience. Now we go to the family court issues. I get a criminal judge now who is a criminal judge, but is a family judge fill in. Now the family judge disappears. The first judge, he was, I didn't agree with him. I went along with him. I said, okay, joint custody, we gonna boom, my son spend the night with me every weekend, certain day, okay, boom. Okay, I'll try to work that out. Although I didn't agree with him at all. Um, but the decision he made, it made sense. So I went along with it, like I said. Now the other judge, I told her, listen, my son needs to come with me. He can still see the mother. This is what I was saying. I have the job, I have the business in his name. The mother and them's getting lazy not to talk John or her. The grandmother's bringing him to school 80 something times. She's using his money for her to live. That he's getting for his sensory toys that's supposed to help him. And what's going on. And the state laws, federal laws, grandparents have no say so if the mother and father is there, and I had joint custody. So the critical thinking we went through already with the school, that I have all this proof, but it is biased on color, but it's more biased on fathers aren't paying attention and fighting like they should be for their sons and daughters. They're just in school and they're letting stuff go, over and around their head. And you can even see it's just not special needs. It was college kids. It was schools like Harvard, Duke. Some of them, though, were getting leniency, but others were getting taken advantage. And, it was a money thing. So, like I said, now the judge, I'm trying to explain to the judge what's going on. They're involved in this. This needs to stop. This is my son's future. There's crimes that have been committed here. There's lies on false oath. Now all of a sudden, I get put on mute. Now all of a sudden, I did put in for custody. The judge said that it wasn't for custody. We go back to court and said, now this is a custody hearing. I have the other CDs right here, the audios I went to get. I agree with it because I see that they was thirsty and I sat back. I did my investigations. 5 other people had court dates with my last name I didn't have, and I was wondering who she was talking to because she said to me, and she laughed, what does AOL stand for? I didn't want to tell her. Administration of Law stood for because I got rules from Trenton when I was going pro se. Keep special needs in court and family separate. So I didn't want to answer it because I thought it was a trick question. She put me on mute and laughed at me. So then I put in return recently, I would like to know who you were laughing at because I have proof on these CDs, the days you said that I was in court and blah, blah, blah. I wasn't even in court them days. So I would like to know. So this is showing that they're going out of bounds. They're using critical thinking as still, we're not going to let the father in New Jersey. This is how we do it. Or New York might say, well, we uplift the father more. Jersey, no, we go with the mother more. Best interest. It's not just me. It's about 300 other fathers in New Jersey that's been fighting this case since like 2013. Same thing with special needs or non-special needs. So then now we have, I have to fight harder. It's critical thinking. Um, Now it's false reports saying my dad was dead. He died of cancer. I have headaches, and this is why. Now they're making diagnoses, and I'm asking the school to get rid of this. Now they won't. So they're going to try to do what they're going to do still. So now this is when you have to go civil discrimination, and you have to go civil for damages, and you have the proof right here. Because you can't come up with a CD, an audio in front of family court on oath that the school wrote and said, my son commits these days because he's 9 on a 2-year-old level. And the head district said, who said that? We don't agree with that. Them days are unexcused. Wait, they give me a calendar, such and such. They give me a such and such from CHOPS. They use this report. My son was 4.5 on the 2-year-old level. So that means somebody blotted out. So my so-called, well, I'm going to leave it, defendant and the teacher got together. And it advanced the critical thinking because the teacher did try to use psychological warfare, which she can't get over on me. And she used it on the defendant by them asking for help. And the father was right here. So not only was father's rights violated, my son's rights were violated. Other special needs kids and non-special needs kids were violated. So I'm still going through it now. Look at the critical thinking still. And this is why I'm saying that they want you to be, and I'm not going to say they want, I could say, because it can execute on you when they think you are a nobody or you a gang member or a drug dealer or you an ex such. It don't matter what color. Because autism comes in all colors, such and such, but it can, with hard work, kids can live, kids can still be them. And I'm one of them fathers that's, for my, and even my daughters, and my daughter's about to have a son, so, it's just, and even when I take that in family court, now, even when I was going through something with, I ain't gonna say the names, my second daughter's mother in there. I just wondered, wait a minute. If I have joint custody and you gave up your rights with the grandmother, how did you get her moved out of the county? For 10 years, I was writing letters. Didn't understand. I'm just like, if it's something I did wrong, let me know in violation, because that's the way it's supposed to be. But I was hustling so hard in the county and such. I guess that's they paybacks. But it's still supposed to be by law, because by France, Crown, Corona, the Bar Association, the true Bar Association, these lawyers and these judges are treason. They're out of bounds. They went against democracy, and they're doing it within their little, and this is how critical thinking comes. It's like real estate in the zone. You can have a certain amount of people come together in a zone, and these certain amount of people can vote you out. Same thing in the streets, same thing in politics, the churches. It's critical thinking to make you, because if you're aware and you bring about things, it changes things. People get comfortable. And that's why I said it shows how crooked you have in the education system. You do have that. So it's basically, you have to fight, and you have to, they say defend the ones that can't defend themselves, So it's basically, the critical thinking, and it's still going on. It's still, like I said, it even trickles down in the streets. Critical thinking to get these kids, you have to keep them this way. If you keep them dumbfounded or dumb them down, when they get older, they go right into the analytics of them kids in Philly, Chicago, Jersey, running around wild, PTSD. And guess what? This stuff is created. And it's created because it's vulnerable. They depend on vulnerable parents or vulnerable ones that don't know. You see what I'm saying? This is why the so-called rich or the people with money or their own businesses get treated different because they're not really dependent on the state. The government is different laws right there. So it's not good to always take advantage of the welfare system and this and that. It's good to come up with opportunities, especially in these days and times. But I just wanted to share that with you. And like I said, even in the streets, critical thinking. They have those in the streets that, even in the family court system, they have those ones that will cooperate and they're committing all type of stuff, DIFAs in their law cases and all type of stuff. But if they're willing to cooperate their way and give up information too, they're allowed to. But when people fight and when people expose, say they don't like that, so they use them other critical thinkers in the street to get people to critical think about you. The law does it. The education does it. And it's not just me. It's people who are fighting for true justice. True justice. And like I said to them, you can hate me or you can dislike me, but but this is children and these but when you, like I said, when you go higher, Trenton, DC, they don't look at it that way. They say, no, we don't look at it that way. But like I said, I just wanted to share that special education, what I'm going through, and I'm still going through it now, just sitting here. Sometimes it's overwhelming, but you got to fight for what's right, and then it takes you to a higher level. And that's why I said in my other little clips I made, talked about Kanye West, Cardi B, certain ones that was getting to politics and hip hop. And this is where this type of stuff takes you to, you know. I look at one human race or whatever. Some people like to divide, but there was Negro high intelligent Republicans of all different races, not just that, Mexicano, Europeans, whatever, Spanish or whatever. But like I said, defend what's right. But yes, the special education system, and I'm not going to say the teachers, but I'm going to say certainties in the special education system help break the wings of the children that's supposed to fly. Fathers, stay on top of your game. Mothers, stay on top of your game. You can advance. And it felt so good when one of the head teachers said, no, my son should be more advanced. See, there's people that are there truly for you when others are against. All you do is keep it real, and then you grow. And like a tree rooted, you stand firm. Yup. Stone stands are coming at you. Educate your children. Educate the ones around you. Stay away from the suckerism. Educate our lives. Stone stands. Peace. Yeah.